Hey everyone, it's Warren, and today I'm going to be sharing my personally curated holiday Yuletide book recommendations. I did a video like this last year where I talked about some of the best books to read during the holiday season, and you might see a couple of those books from that list appear in this video, but over the past year I've acquired more holiday books to read for this winter season, so I guess this should be called more holiday reading recommendations? I don't know. But before we begin, don't forget to give this video a big like and hit the subscribe button so you can catch all of my weekly videos. So the first one I have here is part of the Signet Classics series, and that is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And this is a really cool story from Arthurian legend, and I think it was actually like lost in history for a while, or no one had found it until recently. It was written by an anonymous medieval poet. Sir Gawain is one of the Knights of the Round Table in King Arthur's court. So it is Yuletide in Camelot. And in case you don't know, Yule is where we get Christmas from. It is like the ancient celebration of the winter solstice in Scandinavia and across Northern Europe. So that's kind of where you get like the saying Christmas in Camelot. So it is Yule in Camelot, and all of the Knights of the Round Table have gathered with King Arthur to have a great feast. This mythical knight with green skin barges in and presents all of the knights with a deadly challenge. And so the brave Sir Gawain steps up to the plate and accepts this challenge that will force him to choose between his life and his honor. And I think that's so cool. It's heroic literature from the Arthurian legends, and it takes place during the winter solstice. So just like imagine that. Even in medieval Europe, people were writing holiday-themed heroic literature. I love it. Sir Gawain is a very noble knight of the Round Table, but he also is, I think, a little bit arrogant, and he's kind of a womanizer, so there's also some romantic affairs involved as well. It's just a perfect story to read, to huddle up by the fire and read a great heroic legend of old. This book is extremely short. It's only about 150 pages, and even J.R.R. Tolkien wrote his own translation and commentary of this story. This one is by Burton Raphael, and this edition looks like it has mostly modern English, so it shouldn't be too hard to follow and understand. Oh, I should probably like step over a little bit that way, yeah, so we have like room in the center for the book shot, for the money shot. The next holiday book is Santa Claus, King of the Elves by B.C. Chase, and this is like a new take on Santa Claus, a tough, gritty type of Santa Claus where he's not really this cheery, jolly old chap delivering presents. He's kind of like a badass warrior. His wife is kidnapped, and he has to embark on a journey with his elves, and they have to go rescue her. On their journey, they learn of bigger forces at work than just whoever took his wife, and that there is forces and a plot that could threaten the survival of the entire race of elves. It has a lot of elements from The Hobbit, so if you're into a high fantasy, dark and gritty winter tale of Santa Claus, then I think you would like this book a lot, and the cover even has like red and green on the top, so that's pretty cool. Next up is another book that I included from last year's video, and that is The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. This is a classic winter story about this queen of ice and snow and a magic mirror, and this is actually the story that inspired the movie Frozen. This is the perfect book to read for when it's freezing cold outside, the snow is falling, and we're singing carols. And this volume also includes some other winter tales, including Alexander Dumas's History of the Nutcracker, which is what inspired the amazing Nutcracker ballet performance. So this is a great story to sit down and really get yourself into the festive holiday mood. Next up on the list is a book that I ironically just mentioned a few minutes ago, and that is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, of course. This book, I think, is a book you can read almost year-round, but I like to read it during the winter months. The past couple years, that's when the movies have been coming out, so I guess I've just started to associate December with, oh, we get a new Hobbit movie. But I'm recommending this book because I think reading fantasy is really great around the winter time, especially when we're surrounded by lots of natural decorations. We've got garland and fir trees in our houses, and throughout The Hobbit, we actually do see the change of seasons. Bilbo starts off in the Shire. It's rolling green hills and gardens and warm, pleasant weather. It's very symbolic of like fertility and springtime. And then as he travels across Middle-earth, he travels across valleys and forests, and eventually reaches the Lonely Mountain, which is this rocky, barren, cold, snowy mountain. And in order to enter the Lonely Mountain, the dwarves have to find the hidden door by using the first light of Durin's Day, which is the first full moon at the start of winter. So you have a major plot point in The Hobbit depends on the winter solstice. So I think that's pretty fitting for the Yuletide season, and I really love the artwork on this cover. It is very summery and wintry at the same time. Next up is a book that I am shoehorning in here just to give me another excuse to talk about this series that I love so much, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and this is my collector's edition. And the reason I mention this book in particular is because Throne of Glass takes place in the wintertime. It's all about Celaena's journey during like the winter, and there's a few romantic moments that take place during the Yulemas festival, which is basically the winter Christmas time festival in this world, and also is very like symbolic emotionally and mentally, psychologically. Like she's in this winter, this very barren, cold sense of mind. She's supposed to be this cold-blooded assassin. It just works, okay? I just wanted to include this in here because I love this series. When I read Throne of Glass in particular, like not all the rest of the books, just this book on its own, it does have a very wintry feel to it. Next, we have another Beauty and the Beast retelling, and that is Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a classic Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's about this young woman named Yeva, I think that's how you say her name, and basically her father gets taken by the beast creature, and she has to go after him and hunt down the beast, and it's, you know, your typical Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it takes place in the winter time. It takes place in like a snowy forest, and the cover is very, very wintry, this green cloak. So you have a holiday color, you got green and white. They're very wintry, but yeah, I don't really have like much to say about this book. At this point, Beauty and the Beast retellings, you kind of just know what happens. Some of these books I just picked because it takes place in the winter. And next we have another repeat from last year, and this is a great book to read annually. I think that's kind of why I'm including them in this video too. That is My True Love Gave to Me by a whole number of authors here. These are 12 holiday stories. They are edited by Stephanie Perkins, and we have authors like Holly Black, David Levithan, Gail Forman, Jenny Han, Rainbow Rowell, Laini Taylor, Kirsten White. So there's a lot of popular young adult authors, and the cover is so cute and aesthetic. And on the back it says it's the most wonderful time of the year. So there's just 12 short stories in here for like the 12 days, you know. It's just like fluff, you know, that contemporary fluff kind of story. But it's great and festive and can get you excited for the holidays. And the last book on my recommendation list, you guys are gonna hate me for recommending this because I know so many people hated this book, but I have to put it in here, and that is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. The reason I'm putting this in here is because this book literally takes place during the winter solstice. That's like the whole plot of this book, is that it takes place during the winter solstice celebration as the Night Court observes the longest night of the whole year, and it's also Feyre's birthday. So it's basically just a little fluffy novella about the Night Court and the Inner Circle, and just how they are recovering after the main trilogy, and just celebrating being close and having family and giving each other gifts, you know, all of the great traditions. Pretty much the plot of this book. There was not like a lot that happened in it, and a lot of people hate this book because it was so like unnecessary. I love it though. It includes some fantastic scenes, including a particular snowball fight, which I really thought was hilarious. So yeah, snowball fights, gift giving, longest night of the year. It's perfect for the winter season. Even if you don't like it, it definitely gave me very festive vibes, and it was weird because it came out in May. So I read it in the summertime and was feeling Christmas holiday vibes. It was very weird because I was like, wait, no, it's May. It's not time for this yet. But now would be the time to read this because it actually would fit in with the changing of season. If you don't like this book, you know, hey, don't hate on me. I'm just recommending it. So those are all the books that I'm going to recommend for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know which books on this list you are excited to read for the holiday season. I'm really excited to read The Snow Queen and Hunted, and probably The Hobbit, because I've really been wanting to read Tolkien lately. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Starry Night Reads, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!